Hello. Okay, so this is Lovesick Obsession 19. I've been watching a bunch of the reviews on Prometheus on YouTube, and I have seen the movie. I saw it, I think opening weekend for it, because I know I did a movie review on it. Speaking of which, if you guys ever want to see the movie reviews that Jason and I do, I will put the link to the site in the box. Okay. Or not the box, but below, you know, that YouTube changed, whatever. Okay, so I wanted to do my own kind of thing. If you have not seen Prometheus, do not watch this review. If you want to see our review of it, though, which is spoiler-free, that is on the site. It was an audio review, so you can listen to us kind of banter about, you know, what we liked about the film, what ratings we gave it, and what we thought of it. So let me start this off by saying my opinion on this movie is going to be extremely different from a lot of other people's. I have actually never seen the Alien films, and it doesn't take that much research to know that Prometheus is basically the genesis of Alien and all this other stuff. So that right there, I don't really think that's necessarily a spoiler. We did not put that on our review, but hopefully you're not watching this if you haven't seen the film yet. If you've seen the Alien movies, then like I said, your opinion's going to be extremely different from mine. I actually really enjoyed Prometheus, mostly because I didn't know what to get out of it. I didn't think that the trailers gave a very clear definition of what I was supposed to be watching. I know that before we saw the movie, my grandmother, who went with me, mentioned that she's like, oh, it's going to be like Alien, like that's what it's going to be. And of course, since I had never seen any of the Alien films, I haven't seen Alien vs. Predator or anything like that, I had no idea what I was going to be walking into, and I had no idea what I was going to think when I walked out. I actually really loved the movie. It kind of starts off, you know, you see this humanoid creature who's obviously an alien. He's standing at the foot of this cliff, and he drinks this goo, and at first you're thinking, okay, who are you? We don't know who you are, okay, but you go ahead and drink that stuff. I'm sure it'll be great for you. No, it's not good for you. He falls into this river, and his structure is being broken down. This goo is like pretty much destroying his genetic makeup, and they even do like a bit of a I forget now if it was like an actual like gene cord, or if it was his skeleton is being broken down and disintegrated by this stuff. So first off, you're thinking, well, okay then, what was the purpose of that? Like, what is that stuff? Who is this guy? Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, now we've met some scientists, and they have found this cave painting that dates back like millions of years, and they're saying, oh yeah, it's just like the other ones. Well, we haven't seen the other ones, so we just need to be like, okay, we'll trust that you guys know what you're up to. Speaking of which, in the trailer you kind of know, no, these people have no clue what they're up to. They pretty much say that right there in the trailer, that that they were wrong, and that this is supposedly an invitation. But in the trailer you hear her say, no, we were wrong. Okay then, well, we know where this is gonna go, you know? So we get on this ship, and there's this guy kind of walking around, and he's really mellowed out, but seems extremely frustrated at the same time, which is odd. And at first you're thinking, okay, what's going on here, you know? And everyone else is like asleep, like they're in space, and it's a long travel, so they're all asleep, so that they, so that the aging process of the 2 years is quicker. But this guy's walking around. Why is this guy walking around? Okay, maybe they do shifts, who knows? He goes up to the sleeping pod for the scientist, and he's watching her memories. Well, okay, that's a little weird, borderline voyeuristic, but okay, go ahead and watch people's dreams and memories. I guess that's okay in that century. You kind of learn a little more about him, and as you go on, he's actually an android. Everyone kind of wakes up. The ship's captain is not the captain, like the woman who's pretty much like in charge. She's like this matriarch in charge lady. She's just angry. You don't really know why she's angry, but she makes it clear that she doesn't like being here. She doesn't plan on having the scientists have their way. It's going to be her way. It's her ship. She, she said to put up with all the money and stuff. So we don't really know what her problem is. We just know she has a problem. Then you meet some of the other characters. There's a couple scientists who are just right off the bat, you kind of realize I don't really like these guys. And then we kind of learn a little more. We meet the character Whaler, who is funding this expedition. He wants to know who created human life. This whole journey is that he wants to know who created them. And these scientists possibly have found the answer. And, they ask, okay, well, who are they? Like, what are we calling them? And they call them the engineers because supposedly they have engineered us. So there's this whole thing. They don't know what the heck is going on. They go into this structure that's obviously not natural. So they go in and find, hey, wait a minute. We can breathe in here. This is suitable oxygen. We can't breathe outside, but we can here. So they take off their helmets, which is pretty stupid. They do it anyway. At this point, we find out that David is indeed an android. And they pretty much go from there. They see these holograms kind of going by these creatures. They don't have a clue what's going on, but they follow them. They've got trackers going all around this thing, mapping it out. And it's just completely bizarre. And then eventually they get to this chamber. And before they get to the chamber, there's this door and there's a body there. They've seen the hologram of this alien dropping to the floor, and this door falls and chops off his head. So they see the body and they're just like, okay, this is insane. The door opens and there's the head. And it's like, okay, let's bring the head back to the ship with us. This is incredibly smart of these people. But inside this this chamber, there's these little pots and urns and just these structures, and then there's this face that's been like not carved into the wall, but it's like a sculpture, and it's got some little symbols on his cheeks. There's a mural on the wall that starts changing, which is kind of weird, and then we see this black goo, which we were introduced to in the beginning of the movie, which is coming out of the urns, and then this mural's changing as well. Honestly, when I was in the theater, I had no clue what this mural was. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't see it very well. The first time I actually got to see what the mural looked like was when I was looking at the Prometheus review that was done by Comic Book Girl 19 here on YouTube. That's when I first actually got to see what the mural was. It was like, oh, okay, okay, like what do I do about that, because in the movie it's kind of suspenseful, but then you're like, I can't see what's going on. I literally was not able to see it. It was too dark. Maybe just been our theater, but anyway, so it starts changing, and that's kind of weird, and they've got like a video feed going so that the people on the ship of Prometheus can see what's happening. Anyway, David decides, okay, let me take some of this goo with me. This big storm is coming, so they need to get the heck out of there. But before they do that, these other two scientists who we've already established we don't like them whatsoever, they decide, okay guys, we're going to go back to the ship. We don't want to be with you guys. This is too weird. So they run off someplace, and all of a sudden, so there's this storm coming, and it's like, you guys aren't going to survive there. You guys need to get back to the ship. And so first they bag the head. David takes one of these pots that's oozing this stuff, and they go back to the ship. They get to the ship, and the head falls off the cart. Well, now we gotta save the head. Now we gotta save the scientist. Oh my god, it's so climatic. Okay, anyway, so all this stuff is going on. And it turns out, oh, those two scientists, they're still lost inside the structure. Oh my god, they're such idiots. Why would they do that? Anyway, they're stuck there, and all of a sudden we're getting news that there's something alive in there, that, which is also in the trailer. Whatever it's picking up, it's reading life form. Well, great, now we thought we were the only living people here, there was nothing to be afraid of. Now there's something alive in here? That is crazy. So, you know, and then one of the big scenes, people who haven't seen the movie, if you're still watching this, then I am just going to assume that you don't want to watch the movie, but the snake scene. So, first of all, there's worms in this cavern, and then the goo gets on them. So this is the first time we get to see what else the goo can do. First we see it destroy, now we get to see it create. And it merges with these worms, and this snake creature is formed. So it's like a rebirth, a new birth, a new creation. And these scientists are like, okay, well, one of them's a biologist. And he's like, okay, this is pretty cool. I want to see what's going on. That makes total sense. If that's your passion, then of course, if you see something new for you to study, then of course that makes sense. The other guy's a geologist, and he's just, I don't care, I never liked him. Anyway, yeah, no, he's just kind of there, really. He doesn't want to be there, so quite honestly, I don't really care what happens to him. So anyway, the snake latches on to the biologist, breaks his arm, starts screaming for him to cut the thing off, and everyone on the ship no, never mind, the ship cannot hear. He thinks they can, but they can't. So now the geologist has to do this, so he chops it in half. Acid blood goes everywhere and goes on the guy's helmet. The snake is still alive somehow. It gets into the biologist's helmet. The geologist is on the floor with a cracked helmet, and now there's goo all over him, as we might know. We're not sure, because next thing we know, he's some weird zombie thing coming out of Call of Duty, and we don't know what the heck to do with him, because he's not going to die. Anyway, so biologist is getting killed by a snake, basically. So, you know, that's just kind of all kinds of ridiculous stuff that's going on there. Honestly, I don't really know what else to say about that, but that's just kind of the beginning of this review, and I'm going to do a part 2 as well. So, you guys contemplate on that, and then part 2 will be up soon.